Hello, I'm Edward Parsons, and today's video is going to be about a period in Japanese history that really defined it, the Sengoku Jidai, when Japanese daimyos vied for power against the Ashikaga shogunate, and their samurai warriors fought with all their might to secure power for their lords. In this video, we'll talk about 4 weapons in particular. The first weapon we're going to talk about is a weapon that has become synonymous with the samurai, the katana. Nobody knows exactly when the katana first appeared in Japan, although it's widely accepted that it was around the 7th century AD, and that it was an import from China. The design of the katana was quite an ingenious one. Because of its curve, it allowed for the katana to be drawn out in a single movement, unlike many European swords, which required the user to first unsheath it and then get it into position, as demonstrated now. This made it so that a wielder of a katana could easily slash down an opponent within the first strike, increasing the defensive capabilities of the sword while also increasing its deadliness. Another feature of the katana was its single-edged blade, which, unlike in medieval Europe, allowed for more maneuvering compared to its cumbersome European counterparts. Additionally, unlike European swords, which featured a very short hilt, the Japanese katana featured a long hilt, which increased leverage, which also increased the cutting capabilities of this already deadly sword. Furthermore, the katana's single edge allowed for much more quick movement and technique compared to the European longsword, which was mainly just cutting and hacking. This led to many arts regarding the katana, such as kenjutsu. The next weapon on our list is the Yumi bow. Archery, or kyujutsu in Japan, was much different than in medieval Europe. Unlike in Europe, the bow was a weapon that samurai eagerly mastered because of its killing capabilities. The Yumi bow usually stood anywhere from 5.5 to 6 foot tall, and was usually constructed of bamboo and sinew. The range of the bow was roughly the equivalent to that of the European longbow. However, the arrow tips were usually meant to immobilize their opponent rather than kill, so that the honor of killing can be taken by the samurai up close. Furthermore, the Yumi bow's draw was much further than that of the European longbow, which meant the arrows had to be significantly larger. This meant that the bow's power was significantly greater than that of the longbow, and enabled it to tear through armor easily. Nobody knows exactly when the Yumi bow first appeared on Japanese battlefields, but it is widely accepted that it's one of the first weapons that ever appeared in Japanese warfare. And up until the introduction of guns during the early 16th century, it was the premier ranged weapon throughout Japanese society, used by both foot soldiers and samurai equally. The next weapon on our list is the Yari spear. Being very simple in its design, the Yari spear was used by both foot soldiers and samurai. The deadliness of this weapon came from its simplicity and its wide variety of edges, some being very katana-like, slightly curved, and with a single edge. Others were simple needle-like points that were used for jabbing into the vital parts of the samurai's armor, the parts that were thin and relatively ceremonial. The Yari spear was one of the staples of Japanese warfare. For every army during the Sengoku Jidai used them. They were used by guards, guarding castle fortifications. They were used by soldiers in the front lines, fending off samurai's sword strikes. The Yari spear was part of an art called Sujutsu, and its deadliness came from the fact that everybody trained with it, from the lowly Ashikage warriors to the samurai elite. This weapon was simply a staple in Japanese warfare that lasted all the way up to the Boshin Wars, where they saw combat alongside modern guns, such as the repeating rifle and the 6-shot pistol. The Yari spear, in the end, was the ultimate weapon of Japanese warfare, only surpassed by the legendary katana itself. The final weapon on our list is the naginata. The naginata was a Japanese polearm that featured a 5-foot handle and a blade that ranged from 1 foot to 2 foot. Now the blade had a variety of shapes and sizes, but the most common was a Japanese-style curved blade that was effective at slashing and hacking at an opponent. Now, the reach of the naginata allowed for its wielder to keep an enemy at bay while simultaneously attacking them. This proved great for many factions, such as warrior monks, or women who the naginata was originally intended for, due to the belief that a woman should never get up close and personal in combat. The naginata's deadliness came from its balance. A proficient wielder of the naginata could create a whirlwind of chaos that could keep even the most brave-hearted samurai at bay, and could leave them open to attack once they tried to breach that impenetrable whirlwind. The naginata has been around since before the first shogun in Japanese warfare, and nobody is exactly sure where it originated. Some say Japan, some say China, some say it's a hybrid, such as like the katana, but nobody's quite sure. All that is known about the naginata is that it was used during the Ginpei Wars, which predated the Sengoku Jidai by several centuries. Additionally, the naginata fell out of favor in Japan much quicker than other weapons such as the katana and the Yari spear after the introduction of modern firearms. This is most likely due to the fact that the sudden whirlwind chaos of its spinning could not defend against an ounce of lead, which saw the demise of this incredible weapon. I'm Edward Parsons, and I'd like to say thank you for watching this video.